What's up, y'all? My name is Nate. This is Throttle Only. So this is a Kia EV6 and it's a lot cooler than you think. Let's check it out. So let's start up front here with the exterior styling. We're gonna start with the hood here. So on the hood, there's gonna be one body line on either side of the vehicle. It makes it look super simple, but also super nice at the same time. As we come on down, a giant Kia badge there. It's gonna be their revamped logo. I really love it. It's gonna be finished off in this aluminum color that looks really great. As we continue on down, super linear looking grille. I love that design. And then if you look closely, it's actually going to continue on into the headlight design, which makes that look just super flowy. And then if we look a little bit closer into these headlights are going to be, of course, your standard LEDs. They look very good. And then if you turn on your hazards or turn signals, it'll actually replace that white light with an amber light, my favorite. And then on the lower portion of this front fascia here, you're still gonna have that same linear design that we saw just up here, but then you're also gonna have your radar cruise control bits. The tech is gonna be sitting right there on this little black panel. It looks really good. It still matches the rest of the design on this vehicle. So at the side of the vehicle, looking at these wheels, so these wheels are gonna be the 19-inch alloy wheels you can configure on Kia's website. And just above where the wheels sit, you're gonna have this nice arch here that is not going to be this standard plastic that we'll see in a lot of other vehicles. Instead, it's going to continue with that same linear design that it had up front, and it's going to be gloss black. It looks super nice. As you come on back and look at these mirrors, so these mirrors do fold. They have their indicator on the outside. It also has a blind spot monitoring system, and then when you shift into reverse, those mirrors will actually tilt down to allow you to see better. Coming on back a little further, looking at these door handles. So these door handles will have the proximity sensing in them when you have your key in your pocket. And then when you push on the doors, it's actually going to be similar to a Tesla Model 3 or a Model Y, but except it's actually going to open the reverse way. And I'll show you what that looks like. Then as we come on down, you'll see that there is some styling here closer to the ground. And it looks very nice. It does have this chrome strip mixed with this gloss black strip. I don't mind it too much since it does have kind of a chrome and a black theme going on with this vehicle. So at the side profile of the vehicle, there are a couple things that I really like. The first one is going to be this nice body line that runs in the center of the vehicle. Also, the very nice sloped roof design it has towards the rear end. I just really love that look. And then lastly, I do love the black accent that's going to separate the top half of the vehicle and the lower half. It just makes it look super nice. So at the rear of this vehicle, I think this is where the EV6 has a lot more personality. So up top, there will be a shark fin antenna. And then as we make our way down, there are also going to be a roof spoiler. And this roof spoiler just looks super good. It's gonna have two holes in it to allow air to pass through. It just looks very nice, and especially from the side. So as we continue on down from the roof, you might notice that there is not necessarily a spoiler on this vehicle, but if you look at it from the side, you might notice that there is a little bit of a lip. And that lip is made up of the tail lamps. Speaking of these tail lamps and this somewhat roof spoiler on here, those tail lamps are actually going to continue with that same linear design we saw on the rest of this vehicle. If I turn on the hazards or the turn signals, there will be indicators on either side of this nice LED light bar, and it's going to turn red. Additionally, on this side of the vehicle, this is going to house your charge port door, and you can charge that using a NEMA plug. There's also going to be some white indicators in there to let you know what charge level your vehicle is at, and you can close the door or hold the door open using those buttons. On either side of the vehicle, there's also some very nice styling elements. You're also going to have this very nice chrome strip that's going to run to either side. On this side of the vehicle, there will be an EV6 badge. In the center of the vehicle, you'll have a Kia badge. Then as we make our way down, nice linear kind of diffuser look next to this license plate here. There will also be a reverse camera, and you can open up the hatch down there as well. The very last thing I want to mention is going to be more of this weird styling bit that's going to be just below where a diffuser would be. It looks pretty good though. So there are a few different trims available for the EV6. At the lower end, we have the light. The middle trims will be called Wind, then the GT line, and finally for the top trim, it will be called GT. So I have the Wind rear-wheel drive. You can see that the starting MSRP is $48,700 US for a 2024 model. The 2022 Kia EV6 that I have is exactly as spec'd on screen. It has snow white pearl paint color, and the interior is black vegan syntax seat trim. This fully electric vehicle is going to push out 225 horsepower, 258 foot-pounds of torque. It has a single-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters that relate to the battery regeneration instead of gears. And it has a 77.4 kilowatt battery with up to 310 estimated range. And it is capable of towing up to 2,300 pounds. So here is a look at the key fob. It will have remote start and pretty standard buttons that will run on the edge of the key fob. Nothing too different from regular key fobs. Okay, now I'm gonna pop the hood here on this EV6, and then after that, we're gonna look at the trunk space. So the hood is now popped here, and this is what is underneath the hood. You can see it just says EV under here. No storage space or anything like that, like Tesla or Rivian, just the battery. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the trunk space here. I'm gonna use the key fob to open up the hatch. So let's go ahead and start up top here. So you're gonna have a close button right here. There's not much of a loading floor here for this EV6. You can see there is a decent amount of room back here. And if you want to fold these seats down, there's going to be this lever right here. I'm going to go ahead and pull that. There's one seat. And then now let's go ahead and do the other one. There are both seats folded down. You can see just how much room there is here in the rear. So under here, there will be a little bit more storage. You can just lift right here. You can see there is a tire mobility kit right there. And then this piece also can just slide on out, and you can put some more items right there. And then when you're done, just go ahead and slide it back to conceal it. So the seats can also be folded down or up just using this lever right here. And then you can also lean the seats back a little bit more using that same lever. All right, so I'm now in the rear seats here in this EV6, and I must say there is actually a decent amount of room back here, even though this vehicle is kind of small. So there's not going to be a hump in the middle since it is going to be an EV. These seats are very comfortable as well. It's also very nice when you enter the vehicle, you can actually grab the back of the seats, whether it's the driver's seat or the passenger seat, just based off of the design up there. There's also going to be some vents on the B pillar. There won't be any vents in the middle center column here, but I do like the vents on the side here because you can maneuver them a little bit more, and I feel like you get a little bit more air as well. And then looking at these doors are very plain, but it has a very nice sound system in it. It is going to be called the Meridian Surround. And then for the armrest in the center for the passengers, it is very plush. And then there will also be some cup holders back here as well. So I almost forgot to mention, there is a generator in the back seats here. It's going to be in the middle of where the rear seat will be. And you can just slide it over and it will reveal a plug. So we're gonna take a look at the passenger side now. So let's start up top here. So you're gonna have this beautiful Meridian Surround little tweeter that's gonna be just up top here. Same materials that we saw in the rear. Same little armrest area, a nice little pocket down here, your locking and unlock controls as well as one window switch here, and then a place for some storage, and then this beautiful speaker. Then as we enter the vehicle, there's not going to be a sill, but then you're going to have all of your automatic adjustments right here. Lots of legroom here. You get a look at this beautiful dash as well. There will be one vent there. And then these seats here will also be heated and ventilated. So here's a look at the driver's side door. It's pretty much going to be the same as the other doors here, except we are going to have some memory seat controls right here. Down below from that, we're going to have all of our window switch controls here. The front two windows will be automatic. And then of course, you'll have your child lock right here. If you want to adjust your mirrors, you can do so just up above. and you can manually fold in your mirrors as well if you choose. Here's that same storage area we saw on some of the other doors here, and then down here as well. Another look at this beautiful speaker. And then as we enter the vehicle, again, these seats are going to be heated and ventilated, and they look very nice. Down below, there's actually going to be a pretty giant dead pedal here, and all of your regular pedals will be rubber. On this panel to the left of the steering wheel, you have some of your illumination controls right here. You can open the trunk. You can also open the charge port door here. Your electronic parking brake will also be housed there, and your traction control off button will also be there. So since this is an EV, you can see just how much space there is here in the center console area, and I just love this design. So we'll start at the bottom here. So at the bottom, there will be a USB-A port as well as a USB Type-C. You'll also have some DC charging down here as well, and a giant storage area. Then as we make our way up, you'll see this beautiful armrest / center console. It has a very nice look to it, and it is decently comfortable as well. As I go ahead and open this up here, it is very deep. There is lots of room in there. Just up from that, there's actually going to be a wireless charging pad right here. And then when you place your phone on this wireless charging pad, it'll actually have an LED indicator that will show you that your phone is being charged. There's also some cup holders here and a small storage area as well. The shift lever is going to be electronic, and it will be just above from there. And it has this very nice texture, linear material. You can push this button right here to activate your cameras. You can auto hold when you brake and turn on and off parking sensors. Up from there, this will be your EV on button. Heated and ventilated seat buttons will be just up from there, and there will be 3 modes for each. So just up from this floating dash area, there will be all of your AC controls right here, and it has this very nice kind of matte finish along with this LCD display. So all of the AC controls are very easy to use. You can use these dials right here to adjust your temperature. I have sync on right now, so it'll change both sides for the driver and the passenger. You can also just select driver only if you would like. Turn on AC, adjust the fan speed. Everything is very simple with this display. And then if you want to access other things with the menu, click this button right here. And then now you have map navigation. You can seek different tracks. Go back to media, and I'll go back to home, and then there are the rest of the AC controls. Up from there, you do have these very nice vents here. And then of course you can lock them if you do not want airflow. All right, so now let's go ahead and go over this infotainment. So this is the primary screen that I use. I just like it. It looks very nice. You're going to have your time, your date, and then also the battery percentage for the vehicle. Then if we swipe to the next screen here, there are a good amount of options here, but not all of them are necessarily relevant to me. So primarily I use phone projection if I am going to connect a new phone to the vehicle. You can use the phone as well. Maps, I never really use onboard navigation for vehicles. I just use my phone. So also have an EV app here. So if you want to see which stations are near you so you can charge the vehicle, you can go ahead and use that. There will also be a climate control option here if you don't want to use that LCD bar down below, and it is a little bit more extensive, gives you a little bit more theater. There is also a valet mode, quiet mode, HD radio data, also setup, which is a little bit important as well. So really the only thing that I've used from here is going to be the screen layout theme. So as I click that, so currently I am in the black theme, but similar to Tesla where they have a black and a white theme, depending on how light it is outside, this has a similar thing. However, if I click automatic, it'll go ahead and change everything. And now you can see this is what the gauges will look like. Personally, I am not a fan. I think that the black looks so much better, especially because there is not as much depth here with the white, but that is just my personal preference. Now, let me go ahead and go back so I can just show you fully what all of the black theme entails. And then this is what the black theme looks like. I think that looks a little bit better just because it flows nicer with this black outline with this infotainment screen. And then probably the last thing that I would use in this menu under setup is going to be general, and that is where you will configure all of the standard stuff like system information, time and date, language, keyboard, etc. So now let's go ahead and take a look at this steering wheel. So this steering wheel feels very nice. It kind of has like this synthetic leather feeling to it. It has some black contrast stitching on it as well. In the center, there is this very nice Kia badge. And then down from that, there is also going to be a drive mode selector. And you can select that and it will change the digital instrument gauge cluster above from that. This steering wheel will be split into just two sections, the top and the bottom. On the left side there, the left side is going to house all of your cruise control items there, as well as your lane keep, your distance, etc. You'll also have a pages button on that left side if you want to configure some of the items in the digital instrument gauge cluster. On the right side of the steering wheel, there'll be a mode selector there that will configure some of your audio, and then you can also control some of your phone controls such as volume. You can use your voice assistant and then access your favorites. So on the left side, if you were to pull that paddle relates to increasing your regenerative braking, which I guess is going to be similar to downshifting in a normal ICE vehicle. And then on the right side, that is going to be your decreasing the amount of regenerative braking or upshifting in an ICE vehicle. So here is a look at the drive modes. Here is sport mode, eco mode, normal mode, and then you can also hold for snow mode. So before we take this EV6 out for a drive, let me just show you the reverse camera. I'm going to push that button down below that I showed you earlier. Here is the image quality for the reverse camera. And then we'll also have your parking assistance items right here. And it'll flash green, yellow, and red, depending how close you get. All right, so I'm in the EV6 here. We're gonna go ahead and try to do a 0 to 60 here. Of course, I'm going to be in sport mode. I'm going to put off the traction control right now, and let's just see how well it does. I don't think I can brake boost this thing. Nope, it's not letting me. So we'll just have to mash it off of the gas here. Very slow. There's 60. Okay, all right. So it really is not too bad, but initially for that first like 0 to 15 miles an hour, it did give me a little bit of a jolt. I don't know if you saw that. But so this is going to be this middle trim. It's going to be the wind, rear-wheel drive. It doesn't have all-wheel drive. I did have traction control off, so that was about the best that it could do. This is not meant to necessarily be a performance vehicle. I think if you want the performance vehicle, you're definitely going to have to go with their GT model, and that's going to have like double the amount of horsepower that this thing has, and it's going to be super cool, super updated brakes. It's going to have bucket seats, that sort of stuff. But anyway, going back to this thing, so this seat's up here, very comfortable, definitely one of these touring vehicles. The steering is not performance oriented whatsoever. As I do this, I'm going 30 miles an hour and I'm literally being tossed around the cabin here. It has very nice visibility. I will say it is extremely comfortable. I'm not sure what they did with this suspension here, but going over bumps definitely versus my performance Model Y. Yes, I understand it's a performance vehicle, but nonetheless, it still is very comfortable going over bumps and very nice to drive in general. I think that there definitely is a little bit more theater driving the EV6 than a Tesla, but I still think Tesla has some major advantages, and that primarily is going to be its charging network. So this is going to use ChargePoint and Electrify America, which sucks. I don't know if you guys have used those. I've recently used it. I haven't used it for this vehicle in particular because I have home charging, but my experience with them in the past have been absolutely horrible. So I don't really recommend that. Let's go ahead and try another 0 to 60 and see how it does. Oh no. Yeah, that was very slow. But once you get up there, there's 60. Once you get up there, it continues to go. So just like any other electric vehicle, once you let off the throttle here, it's going to push more of that energy back into the battery, and then you can adjust how many levels specifically you want for that regenerative braking. So you can have level 1 through 3, and then also a max, which is really cool. Tesla, I think, should definitely incorporate that. Really cool feature. Another thing I really like about this is going to be that sound. That acceleration sound is really awesome. I just recently got out of a BMW i4 and had the same thing, but except the BMW's was a little bit better. But nonetheless, yo, Tesla, can you guys do that? That is honestly super awesome. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this review of this EV6. If you did, consider subscribing. Consider just even hitting that like button. I would really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one.